It's a new dawn and new chapter in Nigeria's judiciary. President Muhammadu Buhari has sworn in Justice Olukayode Ariwoola as a substantive Chief Justice of Nigeria. Justice Ariwoola, who spoke with newsmen after his swearing in, promised to bring reforms that will boost justice delivery system in the country. Let's hear Justice Olukayode Ariwoola.
I give all the glory to God. And I believe the Lord that had taken me this far will continue to support me to do the best for Nigerians. And as I said on the 27th of June, when I was sworn in acting capacity, I shall not let down Nigerians. Because with the support of my brother justices, I can see all of them are here with me, as they were when I was sworn in acting capacity. With their support, we shall not fail Nigerians. We shall make progress and, advance the judiciary of Nigeria to benefit not only the common man, all men and women. We are computerizing already the Supreme Court and all other courts of records so that the delay in filing cases will become a thing of the past. We are creating e-filing, we are creating e-diary so that lawyers can stay in the comfort of their chambers and contact the court, address the court by Zoom. Computerization is already taking place, not only in the Supreme Court, the Court of Appeal, and other courts of record in Nigeria. Politicians should allow the judiciary to function. Law is not static. And that's why you have seen that the National Assembly had continued to amend the laws. And it is the law that the courts apply to the facts available. We shall continue to do justice if only Nigerians will allow us to perform and function without any pressure.
Allow the judiciary to function that's independent of just new CJN.
Of course, the pressures will come, whether the CJN likes it or not. Yeah, it's part of the job. You are God's representatives on earth. You are like the mediator between God and man. So you should expect that you will face pressure. But the judiciary should be able to stand firm, even in the face of extreme pressure. Saying that we hope that Nigerians will let them do their work without pressure is really not... there's no way you won't face that pressure. People who want to take advantage of the situation, take advantage of friendship and all that. So, but judges know that they are answerable to God, and so they must be above board. And I want this CJN to learn from what happened to his predecessor, because the issue of welfare of his colleagues, Justice Ariwoola was one of the justices who signed that petition.
Yes.
Eventually, it leaked to the press. But those issues are germane. A situation in which judges are traveling, they do not even have those who can help them. At least they're supposed to travel with an aid at the expense of the state, because at that age, even when they are going for training, they are saying that, okay, those trainings have even shrunk. They are not coming like before again. And judges need training. They need to go abroad, look at the trends elsewhere, and see how they can apply what they have learned here in Nigeria. And then, of course, the issue of their welfare. You can't tell judges that from 4 o'clock, because diesel is expensive, that they should go home. They have to study. They have to prepare their judgments.
You restrict internet access.
You can't do that. You can't do that. So he has to take the issue of welfare seriously.
Yes.
Remember when the President of the Court of Appeal was also complained the other day, it was also about the welfare of judges. President Buhari has promised to do something about the salaries of judges, because the salaries of judges is an embarrassment. In fact, it's a disgrace. What judges earn is a disgrace. What even judges at the level of Supreme Court earn is a disgrace. Not everybody can go to war, go to trenches like ASU, but we must do the right thing. We must not wait until that embarrassing moment comes. The president has promised to do something about the wages of judges, and I expect him to do it before he leaves office.
So this guy's Justice Ariwoola was part of the people that wrote that petition, and now he's seated there. That means whatever he's accusing the former CJN of, that means within his responsibility, within his powers, he must make sure that he performs optimally in terms of the welfare of those guys.
Yes, he has to.
Colleagues.
He has to, because Supreme Court justices work under a lot of pressure, and the judiciary actually needs to be reformed. The judiciary needs to be. He has said there will be reforms, but he should not pretend to be doing reforms and just end up with just a few cosmetic changes. He knows that the reforms go right down through the judiciary, so there must be changes. Things must change. You must make the justices of the Supreme Court, even judges, other judges of the Federal High Courts and all that, they must be motivated to work. And then delays in unnecessary adjournments, delays in filing of cases, and all of those encumbrances should be removed so that we can have a smoother judicial process. But a lot of these things are not there. And then one interesting thing is that nobody, the CJN is not answerable to anybody. So it now behoves on him to put himself under check and make sure that he doesn't also put the judiciary under pressure. He talked about being put under pressure, but that is one problem.
Julie, talking about pressure now, this is just one Supreme Court for the entire country.
Yes.
And you look at how busy the schedule they have, the number of cases they have to dispense of. That's something will start from all the state high courts and the federal high courts, the Court of Appeal, and it's everything will now land. Will result to this Supreme Court very, very
even
busy.
Matters that
The number of judges, land
the
matters,
politicians,
yes,
even
constitutional
matters
matters that will need
they would
expedient
rather
action.
not come to any form of agreement until it gets to the Supreme Court.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
even when the
It's
way
apparent
matter is
that
going, it's clear
The
that
way
we
the
will
Court of
lose.
Appeal or the way
They
the
will
High
still
Court has
appeal.
they will appeal.
You're keeping these
Till
judges
it
busy,
gets
and
to
some
the Supreme
lawyers too are even filing frivolous matters before these judges. They are making life unbearable for them.
Tell the Supreme
You
Court
know,
to interpret their
No, to Supreme Court to
reverse.
itself. And you know there's a portion of the Constitution that says that the decision of the Supreme Court cannot be changed.
We are not
It's
lawyers. Elementary law. You should know
It's
that.
there.
Look, this is the apex court.
So you want them to go against the Constitution. The Constitution strips the Supreme Court of the power to reverse itself. That's why Justice Amina Oye burst into tears, because she never imagined that a day will come when judges, when lawyers, some of them older than her, will now attempt to pile pressure on the Supreme Court to go against the Constitution, to willfully go against the Constitution by reversing itself. They can make mistakes, they are human. But the law does not permit them to say we change our mind about a judgment that we have made. And it's there, the Constitution.
When
Politicians will pile the pressure. It should expect it, but
the-
they have to stand firm.
when the National Assembly, when they were clearing Festus Keyamo, he made a suggestion. Something that is like what they do in the United States, as in these are Supreme Courts. Can it be unbundled?
Why not? There are certain cases. Okay, look at the ASU case, for instance. That from National Industrial Court, that the last level of adjudication is the appeal court. So if you can do that at certain levels, and then in certain cases, if you can introduce arbitration, so that, like what the Lagos State
Before
government
now,
has
we know
been able
that
to do.
the governorship tribunal terminates at the Court of Appeal.
Yes. But if you can also no, but you can also
Politicians,
all of a
you
sudden-
you see, politicians realized that that was a loophole. They exploited it. They exploited
We
it.
were arresting judgment that time.
They exploited it, and the
I
moment
remember.
I know the particular matter that caused that change to happen, but I don't want to talk about it here. Because it was clear that those judges were compromised. Very, very clear that they were compromised. Imagine when those who took part in an electoral infraction came out to say, this was how we did it, and you still gave judgment to the other person. For God's sake. For God's sake. We should fear God now. That's how he got to that point. That, okay, we'll take it to the most senior judges in the land. Now let us see how. Yes. So it's a lot more difficult now. It's a lot more difficult. We have to get the Supreme Court to do less work. But it will require the contribution of everybody. Even those judges, lawyers filing frivolous matters, they have to talk to them. To talk to them.